Looking to get back somewhere up in there. I like the fact that it's all open.
Looking for the mountains.
Pretty amazing.
Looking for that wild place.
I'm up in the saddle
Looking
now.
for the mountains. Looking for them wild places. Yes. The Cascade Trekkers back on the scene.
Back on the scene.
Yeah, it's the scene. November 13th, 2025 scene here with the Cascade Trekker. And I've got about 7 minutes of direct sunlight left. And just a bug out here with a couple days, my weekend. And I've been on this bike for easily 3 hours, just trying to find a decent place to pitch a tent. And it's going to be right in here on this grass. We're dealing with some wet, slick, muddy roads with rain forecasted tonight and tomorrow. Not too awfully cold, I don't think. But I was looking for a closer, memorable bug out. And this is south of Idaho Falls, heading towards the Blackfoot Reservoir. And it's all signed now, private property. And I got off on one road and it just was nasty, muddy stuff. And it's just so slick right here that I would slide sideways trying to turn around. Anyway, I had to drive around the Blackfoot Reservoir, which was 30 miles, get to some pavement, thankfully. And this is a forest road leading back to Gravel Creek Campground, which I think is closed. And anyway, I just saw this dry grassy spot on the forest road, which is right here, and I just boogied right on up. Here, you can look right here. This is all rutted from vehicles trying to get up here. And you know, anything else for me is just a little too much. Thankfully, this road is going to be passable on the way out. And after tomorrow, which is forecasted rain, we've got Saturday, which is dry. Saturday morning is my ride back home. So I think that I'm just going to be back here for a couple days, wandering around, exploring. Nice. Still the Sierra Designs vintage night watch tent with the fix-it repair with the screwdriver through the poles. Alright, so what's cool this time is I'm able to fit the motorcycle panniers in here. Everything is inside the tent right now. This was quickly thrown together, this trip. I'm curious to see what I've forgotten. On the way here, I realized I only have one pair of socks and one pair of underwear. One of the first things I did when I got here was assess the kind of the local availability of fire starter. All right, I didn't bring any fire starter. I didn't plan for any starting a fire, which is kind of ridiculous here in the middle of November. Of course, I have 2 lighters. Beyond that, just a third of a roll of toilet paper. You know, I could pull the cardboard out of that. But what was really interesting, and here's the fire pit over here, was that I looked around the fire pit area and saw what looked like pieces of tape. And these are actually like corn husks. Somebody had brought some corn up here to burn, maybe. And this was all around the fire area, and this is just almost like paper. It's going to be perfect. So I gathered that up. I'm going to put it in a plastic bag. Next, it's going to take a little preparation, but not much. I'm going to gather some of this grass and put it in a bag. It's nice and dry right now. You know, I've got just this little area here of this tall dried grass I'll gather up and put it in the bag. And that's just the bare beginnings of starting a fire. The other thing I noticed was that there's plenty of wood here to burn. Actually, some like pre-burned wood. This stuff always goes up quickly if it's dry. But here, this is all perfect kindling. All this whole bit of wood here is perfect to get the fire going. I can break larger pieces off. There's a big piece, and here this is firewood from, you know, split, brought from home. So I'm going to be set for the fire starting. The other thing was I saw this piece of plywood, which this can, yeah, you can see that it had rained and it's been pretty damp up here. This is going to be a great seat. If I find a couple of things to prop it up on, there's my camp chair. Now what I'm going to do, just for grins, is to drive up the road and see what we have and what the campground is like. Must have been checking me out. Look at these guys. They were checking me out. Had to. You know, this is like 50 yards from my camp. 2 moose. Now, I can't tell if they're males or females. Looks like starting racks on top. I don't know. Well, looks like we got some friends back here. Yeah, guys. I think they are males. Males. Yep. He's got a rack. Big guy. Look at that. Well, we're gonna have a stare down.
you. Beautiful. That's it. Show me those pretty eyes. Yeah. You're a nice one. Beautiful. Look at you. How is it you did this for me? Man. Never. What a place to be right now. You're amazing, big guy. Just beautiful. Look at you. Yeah. Man. I think this is the reason I came. You getting hungry? Amazing, big guy. Look at you. Still here. I'm still here, buddy. Just hanging out, watching you. Yeah, look at you.
Wow. Hard to describe these encounters just right down the road. The two bull moose, they were just hanging out down here. They were just maybe 100 yards down this way, checking me out. And I drive down the road and there they are, still checking me out. And then I was checking them out. Then they trotted a little bit. I was able to get the camera out. And they stopped to hear what I had to say. I drove past, saw them go into the woods. The campground's just kind of like around the other side of the canyon. Looks pretty nice. And the road is really slick. And coming back, I saw the two moose again in the forest, and I stopped. And I said, hey guys, come and visit me later. Right? They're maybe a quarter mile away. And then at the same place that I'd stopped for the moose the first time, an owl dropped out of the tree to the log. And I just stopped. There he was. We were in awe of each other, I guess. I don't know. At least I was in awe of him. Man, just amazing. And this this was the reason for me floundering all day, trying to decide where to go, what to do, and, you know, even coming up here was a big question because there's farmsteads just down at the bottom of this valley beyond the forest. But what a payoff. This has filled my soul to last through the winter. It has to. It has to. All right. This is feeling pretty good. We're going to put this backpacking tarp between the motorcycle and the tent, sort of as a vestibule, covered cook area. And I'm thinking also I'll bring in some kindling to put right here in case I want to get a fire tomorrow. I do think we're going to have a fire tonight, only to welcome these friends of mine. I think it would be appropriate, and getting a little chilly. All right, it's only I've got about an hour and a half of daylight left. I think 4:30 maybe. So we're gonna have to make it happen. That worked out perfectly. Unless the wind really blows the rain under there. So I've got the dried corn leaves and some grass, some kindling, and that big cut piece of firewood there. Here's my camp cuisine. A Rusty's taco burrito with Arby's sauce. And we are washing it down with Budweiser Zero. Okay. So check this out. There's my camp chair. I closed up the fire ring, and looks like just enough time before it gets dark to get the fire happening. Heck yeah. Okay, I've got this firing prepped with the dry grass, and I found a large branch with a bunch of dead moss on the branch tips, like maybe here. All right, and on the outside we've got these larger ones that are gonna, slowly heat up and dry out and start to burn. So this I'm gonna try my One Light Larry on this just to see if it works. Oh, look at that. Let's hope those sticks are close enough. Yeah, I'd call that a success. Yeah, we got a fire. One light Larry with no paper. Just what I found around the forest here. Yeah. Hey, don't zoom in on old man Sleepyhead. Oh, okay. I'm thinking about it. Yeah. We got the clouds. And I got to thinking last night, overnight. You know, since that old grandma that took the White House, since then, all of her funding, you know, retractments, the NOAA weather website has been inaccurate. I'm not making this up. I don't know why. Maybe it's like their revenge on whoever. Anyway, I got to thinking about that while at home before I left. I said, well, I better catch a newscast for the weather. But I didn't. That being said, we might get snowed on. And I'm not too keen on being snowed on with this motorcycle. And probably 70 miles of a drive home. It's not too cold. It was 50 degrees in the tent. Started out at 40. And I think it warmed up with this cloud cover. And the story is, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to pack up and hopefully pack up before it starts to rain and hit the road. I just, you know, have to think about a nice warm night at home before the next work day. Yeah. And that's the story. Great animal encounters up here yesterday. And like I said, my meter's full. And relating on that fire last night, it started great, but I had a hard time keeping it going. Just have to think all this wood is wet, saturated. Anyhow, this has been a short trip again here. Dealing with the cold weather it's a lot different on a motorcycle. You know, it's so easy to hop in your car and turn on the heat, but I don't get any heat on my ride home. It's going to be a cold one. Trekker is out, probably for the 25 season.